Mora, he whispered. Her head was slumped against the window, her auburn curls pressed to the glass in a dark halo. Sweetheart, no. A hard yank and the door shuddered open. His wife flopped into his arms, the seatbelt a harness around her limp body. In seconds he had the belt unsnapped and her lying on the ground. Blood streaked her forehead and cheeks. A hoarse wheeze rattled from her chest. Oh God, oh God, oh God. He mumbled the litany over and over as he jackknifed to his feet and lurched for the back door. Christmas presents toppled from the car, spilling onto the street like gaily sprinkled confetti. With a harsh curse, he yanked the last of the boxes out and crawled into the back seat. Ian. Oh, Jesus, Ian. Gabriel snapped upright, the bed covers falling around his waist. His chest rose and fell on the harsh breaths echoing like great blasts of wind in the shadow-shrouded room. Perspiration tickled the overheated skin on his neck, chest, and abdomen. Grief, a leaden weight in his gut, completed the trifecta of physical repercussions he suffered as a result of the nightmare. Jesus, he moaned, scrubbing a rough palm down his face and then back up. He wasn't surprised the dream had come. He'd been up writing for over 24 hours and had been bone-weary when he'd stripped off his clothes and tumbled into bed around 5 a.m. He'd plummeted into sleep and had been unable to fight the night terror that had plagued him for 2 years now. 2 years. And yet he continued to dream in high definition and technicolor. Pain sliced through his chest with a rusty knife. Thoughts of Mora and Ian still maintained the power to bring him to his knees. He glanced at the digital clock on the nightstand. 9:13 a.m. He'd slept a little over 4 hours, and still felt like shit. With a groan, he fisted the covers, then threw them aside. The sweat cooled on his chest as he shifted his legs over the edge of the mattress and rose. No point lying in bed. Sleep wouldn't come back to him, even if his eyes felt as though they'd been replaced with road gravel. Might as well shower, fix coffee, and write. The routine of his life. Eating was a crapshoot and showering could be iffy too. But coffee and writing? Well, those two kept him sane. And out of the bottle. He stood with a sigh and unbuttoned the jeans he hadn't bothered to remove before falling into bed. Before he shoved the denim down, he slipped a hand in his pocket and removed the small coin he was never without. He reverently placed the gold piece of metal on the dresser, his fingertips stroking the engraved etchings of a laurel leaf and lion. Inhaling a deep breath, he headed toward the bathroom, threading his fingers through his hair. Residue from the dream clung to him like wisps of fog, clammy on his skin, clouding his thoughts. He reached inside the shower, twisted the knobs until the temperature and pulsing of the water was hot and punishing. The water sluiced down over his head, stinging his shoulders and chest. It cleansed his body but couldn't wash away the metallic scent of despair that coated his nose and mouth, as if he'd sucked on a penny-flavored Tic Tac. The images of Mora and Ian couldn't be scrubbed away with soap and a loofah. He flattened a palm on the wall and squeezed his eyes closed, as if he could physically block out the images. Twisted metal, blood, gasoline-soaked gifts. Those fucking presents. He curled his fingers so they resembled talons against the wet blue-tiled wall. To this day, he hated Christmas. With a low growl, he picked up a washcloth and the bar of soap and ruthlessly rubbed his skin. More than once he'd wondered what had occurred inside the car in those few seconds before it entered the intersection. Had Mora been talking and laughing with Ian? Had they been singing carols? Had Ian been playing with that coin he'd received at the mall while out shopping? God, I hope so. Not for the first time, Gabriel prayed to an indifferent God that his son hadn't seen the collision coming. Anger sliced through him like a hot blade. Why hadn't Mora been paying attention? Why hadn't she heeded the red light and stopped? Hadn't she known he would be lost without them? Shame rushed in. A hot stinging salve spread on the wound of his rage. Of course she would have never voluntarily left him, nor would she have caused harm to Ian. Her last words had been about their son. Save our baby first. and he'd been unable to save you.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.